Hi there. This is Joshua the Heretic. Wow. I just turned 34. 34. That's crazy. I have had an interesting week because on my 34th birthday, I was busy working at a temp job, and I heard God talked to me. I don't know how many people out there actually have God talk to them, but God talked to me, and He told me that I need to stop being idolatrous, and I was like, "What?" So I asked Him. Okay, let me give you some backstory on this. When I first became a Christian, I told God, I was like, "Okay, listen, God. I've been to this church, and they were all kind of ungodly." Well, I didn't say ungodly. I used some sort of colorful metaphor that has something to do with, sexual relations with people that are related to you. Well, as I was doing this, I told God, I was like in deep prayer, and I was very upset and frustrated and annoyed, and I was like, "God, I don't want to be like these people." And I said, I can't follow you if I end up like these people. So I told Him, I said, "Listen, God, I will sacrifice anything you ask me to, as long as you don't make me like them." So when I made that prayer, I really didn't understand the ramifications of what kind of prayer that would mean, and I've been kind of suffering for it ever since. So when God tells me to sacrifice something, I do it, and I don't really fully understand how much of it I have to do, or why I have to do it, or how hardcore it's going to be when I do it. But so I'm at this job, and God tells me, He's like, "You need to stop being an idolater." And I'm like, "Okay, so what exactly do you mean by idolater?" So since I don't have an idol in my house, and I'm not like bowing down before it and praising it and thinking that it's cool and groovy, it's not like I have a poster of Dagon on my wall, So I'm asking God, I'm like, "God, could you better define exactly what you want me to do?" And so God told me, He's like, "I want you to no longer watch anything fiction." And I was like, "What?" I'm like, "Dude, Iron Man 2 is coming out here shortly. Supernatural is about to start. I've already seen, there's only like freaking like 12 episodes left, and the entire show is over with." I'm like, "You don't understand, man. I haven't seen Alice in Wonderland in 3D yet." I'm like, "You don't understand these things that I've been seeking for and looking forward to and like freaking out about. Oh, dude, Kick-Ass is coming out. About those kids that want to be superheroes. Oh, I was so looking forward to that stuff." And I'm like, "You're right. I can see now why you consider it idol worship, because I'm sitting here freaking out about not being able to see it." And so it came to a more clear vision, because now I'm realizing that if you're worshiping pagan gods or anything that is not of God, they don't care how many of them that you worship. Okay? If I watch all the Iron Man movies, Iron Man doesn't care if I watch also all the Superman movies or all the X-Men movies or all the Spider-Man movies. They don't really care. It's a pantheon. They're like, "Dude, I'm in the DC pantheon. X-Men are in the freaking Marvel pantheon." They have their own pantheons. They don't care which ones you worship, as long as you worship them and funnel money towards them. They don't care. It's a business. So if it's one movie that has no sequels, it's still fiction, man. It's still a story told to you to try and get you to feel a certain way, to escape reality that God has put you there to feel. I'm like, to escape? What are you trying to escape from? And I'm like, wow. I'm like, oh my God, everybody is an idolater. And I'm like, dang. So now I've come to this understanding, and I'm like, wow. Now here's the thing that kicked me in the nether regions, is that I have been spending the last 20 years of my life building a tabletop RPG, which, by the way, is groundbreaking. It has concepts and ideas that are far beyond anything that's out there. It's phenomenal. It's got a real-time initiative system. It's got a real-time experience. It's freaking so beautiful. It has a dynamic and cinematic combat system. But I digress. Yeah, I spent 20 years working on this thing. I was this close to completing it, and after that I was going to work on my content, and then I was going to publish it and make tons of money. So, what instead happened is I realized what I was doing was I was creating a idol making factory. Yay! And this factory allowed for anybody to jump on that factory and create idols in their own image and then live through those idols to the nth degree. And I, was responsible for this. So now I'm sitting here not knowing what to do with myself, because my every other moment that I wasn't spending talking to God was either I was watching TV or I was working on my game. And my game was dealing with everything else. It was like anything you could do to escape reality, it was there. It was like a free-form sandbox game where you could build any kind of character you wanted, from a god to a demigod to an avatar, demon, angel, vampire, werewolf. You thought of it, you could do it, and you could build it, and it was a fantastic game. And Believer was in there, mage, maven, blah blah. There's all these different things. But yeah, I basically 20 years of my life went swirling, and now I have to start over. So basically what I'm going to try and do now is I'm going to try and make sure that God is my priority. And everything I do for God. And all my free time I dedicate to God. And to be completely and utterly sold out to God. Now, I don't expect everybody out there to deal with this that well, because I didn't deal with it that well. But to be able to sacrifice everything that is fiction in your life. Everything that is fiction in your life, and just toss it. If it's fiction, it's not real. If it's not real, it's not of God. If it's not truth, get rid of it. Dude, there is a statistic. What's that statistic for how much TV we watch? Babe?
7 hours a day.
7 hours. The average American watches 7 hours of television a day. And the average American that even goes to church only goes to church for 2 hours a week. Okay, are we idol worshippers, or are we worshippers of God? Anyway, so why don't we take a step back from our fiction? That means everything from, anything movies, anything TV, anything on the internet, anything, comic books. These are all idols, dude. You want to pass the time, you want to live in a fantastical universe, you want to dwell on things that are not tangible. Dude, I looked up the word idol in the Hebrew, and that word references, and it means things that have no value. If you're dwelling on something that has no value, you are idol worshipping. Anyway. Alright, so anyway, that's what I'm going through, and I'll sure to give you more updates on the scenario. But for right now, this is The Heretic, signing out. Peace. I love you guys. Take it easy.